Howdy folks, Craig and Ray here on the third floor. It's time to talk about the 10 Thunders. Quick disclaimer. Malifaux 3rd Edition was still in open beta when we filmed this, so some of the details may have changed, but overall the theme should remain about the same. We are producing new content about Malifaux on a weekly basis. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, and we can't thank everybody enough who's been leaving comments both on our channel and our Facebook page. Enjoy the video. Okay, let's talk about shirtless Shenlong. If you're declaring 10 Thunders and I find out Shenlong is your master, what am I going to expect to see?
For this iteration of Shenlong, you're looking at kind of a bubble kind of concept.
Okay.
So Shenlong does his style, is a master of the 4 elemental styles.
Okay.
So High River, Low River, Fermented River, Wandering River.
Got it.
Are the 4 styles that he's a master of. And what his kind of really cool thing he does is at the beginning of each of his activations, he swaps styles. And each of them does a very unique thing, and each of them gives him access to an action he didn't have previously.
Oh, okay.
So, like for Low River style, it's kind of supposed to be more of a healing support style. So, he grants the ability now that you can use the signature resource of the monk's chi to gain suits as if they were soul stones.
Wow. Okay.
And then the action it gives him is a heal, a powerful heal, 2, 3, 4, not a 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
And so, and that's kind of what's happening. Is like, so the Wandering River style, it gives a movement effect action. The High River and Fermented River style are attack based. So it just kind of gives them a lot of fluidity to an already fairly fluid character.
Versatile, right?
Yeah, very versatile.
So again, when you activate him, you can kind of decide, what do I need Shenlong to do this
What do I need him to do this time?
Makes sense, makes sense. How about some as an offensive threat?
As an offensive threat, he's actually very, very dangerous because 2 of his styles are offensively geared. One of which gives him switches his negatives and positives. So if you're trying to do the distracting game on him, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. He'll just go drunken kung fu on you. And then the ability that he gains from that is basically kind of a charge that doesn't count as a charge. Yeah, it allows him to move and take an attack, and then I think he gets to move afterwards too.
Nice.
So it just allows him to basically just kind of come in and smack you in the face, but it's on a 1, 3, 6.
Ooh.
So because negatives become positives, if you make him distracted somehow, then he's just like, well, now I'm on positives. I'm like, oh, look, I'm on a negative damage. Now I'm on a positive damage.
Yeah, I'd love to tie this.
yeah, exactly. Like, please, let's get that double negative going for you. And then if you need something that's a little bit more directly aggressive, his High River style is a 2-4-5 double or 2-4-5 blast.
Wow, okay.
So it's like, hi, I'm going to hurt you now.
Yeah.
And it also passes out burning because, that wasn't good enough.
Sure. How about fragility? How hard is he to take down?
I'm going to say it's pretty hard to take down.
Okay.
Because not only does he have... So let's talk about his signature resource, Chi, because that's part of this whole concept here. What Chi does is every time the model with Unlightened activates, it gains a Chi token.
Okay.
And it can harness Chi in the form of spending that Chi to gain +2 to its suit after it's flipped a card in the duel.
Oh, okay, one more time?
+2 to the duel after you flip the card.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you flipped a really, really low card and you don't want to spend your chi there, you keep it.
That's a big deal.
But if you flip a 13, your opponent flips a 13, it's like, all right, I'm going to spend that chi and I'm not going to get hit now. So it's like...
You're smart when you're spending it.
You're smart when you're spending it. And then you can also take the concentrate. When you take the concentrate action, instead of getting focus, you may gain chi.
Got it.
So it definitely, there's a lot of interplay with that. And then like his crew works around some of that shenanigans as well. But that's kind of how he stays alive, is between that and the Low River style for the healing. He can do condition warping, which is something very few models can do.
Okay.
And it's an unresisted condition warp. It's like I'm going to give this condition to you and there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's just a target number to happen. So like if I want the distracted because I want to go drunken, and I take it off one of my buddies, or if your model, has focus 2 and I'm like, no, I want that focus 2 now.
Right.
It's like, so there's a lot of really cool stuff that he can do.
Talk to me about his total.
So he gets 2. He gets aspiring students, and what they basically do is they provide extension to his abilities.
Okay.
So whatever style you have equipped to Shenlong, they have the ability to mimic an action off of that. And they also gain the passive effect that the ability has. So like in the case of Low River style, where you get this aura of, okay, now chi tokens can be used for suits, they now count as that.
Nice.
So that's something that's kind of really neat about that.
Yeah, thematic too. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very thematic. And then the other thing they do is they can pass out distracted, and they have a bonus action that allows them to swap chi around. So like if one of your models is loaded up on chi but isn't using it, you can be like, hey, give it to someone who needs it. So, and that's always useful.
All right, that's Shenlong. Okay, if Shenlong's coming, I can expect to see some monks.
Oh yeah.
So talk to me about that keyword. If I'm going up against a monk crew, what am I expecting to see?
It really kind of depends on what the Shenlong player hires, because each of the monks. So we talked about the styles kind of each being their own little thing. Well, each style also has a corresponding monk that goes with it, and they kind of all do something similar to what that style does.
Got it.
So like High River style is more of an attack piece. Fermented River is kind of more of a mobility attack piece. Wandering River style monks are very movement oriented scheme runners, and then like the Low River style monk is a support healing piece. So it kind of depends on what the player decided they wanted to bring that turn.
Gotcha.
That game. So that versatility though is also kind of one of the things that makes the playing a Shenlong crew hard, because like what do you do with it all? Mm-hmm. The only probably like auto take piece that absolutely hands down you are going to take every single time is Sensei Yu.
Oh, okay.
They made Sensei Yu really strong synergy with Shenlong, and it starts with the fact that he has a 6-inch aura that says anytime one of your monks is damaged, they gain chi.
Ooh, that's big. Okay.
And because chi is the big resource that we're using to kind of keep ourselves alive and fix our duels, that's very, very, very important. The other thing he does is he has a bonus action that says, hey, you lower your chi by 1, gain fast.
Okay.
So if you need a model to take that extra action, you have the ability to give that. And then he's no slouch with his abilities either. So it's like the combo of having Shenlong and Sensei Yu being like anchor pieces for what your monks are doing is where you're going to go with this keyword. And then you're filling in the blanks with what's required for against what your opponent's bringing.
Any offensive pieces within the monk keyword that we haven't talked about?
Not necessarily an offensive piece per se, but an offensive utility piece.
Tell me
is
about
the Charm Warder.
Oh, okay.
So the Charm Warder's got a very interesting ranged attack that is a 1/2/3 that also passes out injured.
Okay.
But it's also got a trigger to force random discards for unrevealed schemes. So it's a really good utility ranged attack. But its melee attack has the coveted trigger of if you have a summon upgrade, I just auto kill you.
Ooh, okay.
So, and then on top of that, it's got a passive ability that says you don't trigger demise abilities if you're within a certain radius of me. So,
in the right situation.
This model is a very offensively aggressive utility piece.
Yeah.
And then it's got this really crazy bonus action called Chaos Theory that's just like these models within range of me have to flip duels, and if they fail them, they take damage. And then there's a trigger that says you in line of sight also have to take part in this.
Interesting.
And so it just kind of mills your opponent's deck out. So it's like Chaos, either you flip a bunch of high cards or you don't, and either way it's thinning your opponent's deck out one way or the other.
Right.
So it's a really good aggressive piece. But I wouldn't call it a damage piece.
Sure.
It's like 2, 3, 4, I think, on its melee. But it definitely, your opponent's got to do something about it.
How fragile is a monk crew?
It really kind of depends on, again, what you brought.
Yeah.
If you brought a couple of monks of Low River, that crew's not fragile in the slightest.
Yeah.
If you brought nothing but attack pieces, then it can be very fragile, because the chi's great, but if you flip to 5 and they flip to 10, your chi's not going to help you here.
Yep.
So it's one of those situations where it's like you've just got to gauge how the field's going to go and just kind of build accordingly.
Is there any out of keyword models that we should talk about?
This crew, probably more than other crews, I really like taking a second master in.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me.
So Masaki and Asami are both fantastic, and Yonlo, those three are kind of my big three, are all really good models to kind of shore up what I feel is kind of a little bit of a weakness in Shenlong's crew, which is you have so much versatility that you don't have a lot of focus. If you want to focus on attack, you've got like 1, 2 pieces you take. If you want to focus on support, you have like 1, 2 pieces you take. You know what I mean? So Asami kind of brings that extra versatility and that extra threat vector that, like, you can be like Shenlong Sensei you here, Asami here, and I'm going to have monks and oni kind of pincering you. Masaki brings this backfield kind of oppression that's really, really strong. And, like, Sensei Yu and Shenlong both are damaging enough pieces that being able to be like, you know, hey, you've got now a Masaki that can obey my High River monk to charge. Like, it definitely puts your opponent in some very, very bad choices.
Gotcha.
So it's really a crew that I like going, let's take a couple of monks that are specific for the scheme pool or the faction I'm playing against, and then let's see if there's a secondary master that's going to kind of bolster this.
Interesting.
Alternatively, you could go with like a couple of heavy hitter pieces, like, you know, a Shadow Emissary is really good in this crew, I
Got
think.
it. Good. So, what kind of player is going to enjoy a monk crew?
Puzzle box players, because the monk crew is a puzzle box.
Okay.
You are getting to choose what your aspiring students in Shenlong are able to do every single turn. But if I'm not mistaken, it can't be the same thing back to back.
Got it.
So you're constantly kind of rotating through each turn how you're going to do stuff. And then when you're building the crew, it's kind of the same kind of concept. It's like, what am I looking to do here? Like, every model in the monk keyword is a good model.
Right.
For a specific situation.
Right.
So when are you going to bring that? And so, like, if you're trying to unlock those pieces and figure out the right combination of, oh, this is when I bring the Low River monks, or this is when I bring, you know, the Lotus Eaters, you know, the anti-scheme runners.
And then when he's activating, what style am I going to take?
Yeah, what am I going to do? How am I going to position my aspiring students? Like, when am I going to use Sensei Yu?
Right.
You know, it's like there's just a lot of really cool abilities that they do. So if you like trying to unlock a crew, this is going to give you a lot of fun tools to play with and just kind of like let your imagination go a little wild.
So it sounds like a steep learning curve.
Can be, definitely. You can absolutely just be like, you know, I'm going to take one of each type of monk type thing, and then they're just going to stand in a bubble together, and they're going to synergize really well with each other, and you can get away with that.
Okay.
But I do really feel like the most enjoyment you're going to get out of this crew is by trying to unlock that puzzle.
Got it. Okay, so that's Shenlong and the monks.